Hey, thanks for joining us on the Eat Crunchy podcast. We are three sisters on a journey towards healthy lives using Weight Watchers to get there. We'd love to hear about your journey as well on our Facebook page or at eatcrunchy.com. Hey guys, it's Rebecca, Lisa, and Heidi here. We're going to have a little bit of a different podcast today. We're super excited to talk with you guys about this. So, as a way of introducing it, we're having a sound off, just to be real. So Heidi and I were just in a Weight Watchers meeting, and I brought up a struggle that I'm having with freestyle. And what I noticed is that, 3/4 of the room indicated that they were having the exact same struggle. And what I've noticed is that in meetings, it seems like we can't really talk about the struggles of freestyle, at least the meetings I've been going to. The leader seems to kind of want to wrap it up in a pretty little bow. And I wanted for us to be able to just talk about, let's talk about the struggle of freestyle. And things that are working well, things that are not working well.
So, I'm so glad we're talking about this because this is the frustration that I had from the very beginning. And I'm not in the meetings because I am online only. So I haven't been around other people other than you guys that are on Weight Watchers. But I've been really, I was frustrated. This is one of the reasons I went to Simply Filling. And I'm not, not that that's even perfect, but just to try something different. So, I guess maybe we should go into some of the specific grievances. One of mine, I wrote an article about this, and Rebecca, I think you've written a blog post about this. I feel like I used to just have faith in the points.
Yep.
I felt like it was specifically formulated to my body and my age, and I knew that if I ate those points, it wasn't every week, but I was going to lose weight, and I had a lot of faith in that. And I could eat some, I knew that I couldn't have chips to make up all the points or whatever. I did have to do some thinking about it, but generally, when I stuck to the points, I lost weight.
It was very simple in that way.
Yeah.
Well, and I think, and this is part of what I shared in the meeting, I think that my faith wasn't necessarily in the points themselves. I had to go through a morning process where I realized I couldn't eat all of my points worth of chips and lose weight.
Yeah.
But I did have faith in 0-point foods. And I knew that I could eat as many 0-point foods as I want to. I could live on apples and grapes, and I would lose weight every single week. And now we have points that are 0-point foods that if I lived on those foods, I gain weight. And I'm not able to lose weight.
And you still have points left over, so you're thinking, oh, I'm good.
Yeah, and I'm thinking I'm in control. I'm following the plan.
Yeah.
And so I'm working through the frustration and the lack of trust in 0-point foods. It's requiring a mindset shift that I just wish that I'd been prepared for, that we'd been talking about. And that's part of why we wanted to talk about it now is, are you guys experiencing the same shift? In our meeting, they said that people that are brand new with Weight Watchers are finding success with freestyle, but people that have been members before freestyle are struggling. And, we kind of want to hear from you guys as well about what's working for you about freestyle, what's not. Are you having the same struggle in terms of you can't really trust 0-point foods are going to help you to lose weight?
What I think is, let's be real about what struggling means. Struggling means you're gaining weight.
Yeah.
Right? I think what's frustrating about freestyle is similar to what Rebecca was echoing, is just that I used to think of 0-point foods as while you shouldn't maybe eat 10 bananas in a day, that's not why I got fat. Right. I could eat as many fruits and vegetables. They were nutritious for me. They were good for me. And I could have them all day long. But when you introduce beans and yogurt and sugar-free, it does seem to value some fake foods over real food, like the sugar-free combinations that we've seen that I participate in because I don't have enough points to fit things in sometimes.
In our meeting, they said that, 0-point chili, for example, just because you make 0-point chili doesn't mean you should eat 0-point chili anymore. That's what 0 points used to mean.
Right.
0 points used to mean I can eat it all the time. I can eat it every day.
Right.
Not that I'm gorging on it, but I could every day I could have a meal of 0-point food and I would lose weight, and that's not the case any longer.
Right.
And you would go to zero. The reason that 0-point foods was so exciting was because when you had eaten all of your points, and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm still hungry, you just had this confidence that I'm going to go have something that's 0 points.
I don't have to go to bed hungry.
And I didn't ruin it. I didn't ruin what I did today because, yes, sometimes it was hard, let's face it, to reach towards the 0-point foods because they are fruits and vegetables. Mm-hmm. But they're the healthiest foods on the whole food spectrum. And you just knew that if I can just make myself have, a big fruit salad and maybe a little dollop of Cool Whip or something, that's my evening snack. And like, I didn't destroy, even though, I'm right at my points. And now it's like, okay, I've used all of my points on pizza or whatever bad food I've had. Oh, good. I'm so glad I get to go still have chicken and fish and chili.
Well,
yay.
And that's Fat Dag's thing, right? He says when you run out of points, stop eating points. So
only or that well, yeah.
Yeah, I have issues with that phrase anyway, but but now that doesn't even apply anymore. When you run out of points, start eating chicken and fish. Like, that's not going to help me to lose weight. And so I'm working through this, and I'm going to work through it, but it's been 2 months and I've been doing this,
So one thing that you mentioned in the meeting that took a note with me was just that you were mourning the loss of the trust in the points previously. Yeah. And I think that phrase really resonated with me, because I feel like I'm going through an emotional change. This isn't just changing my mindset, but like emotionally, I had such trust
absolutely
that this was going to work. And I still believe, I mean, certainly not, low fat turkey and chicken. Those aren't bad things to be eating. Those are good, healthy foods to fill my body with, beans and fruits and vegetables. But the way that I prepare my food, the way that I think about food when I go out to eat, like, that's all having to change.
Yeah.
And it's really, really frustrating to like, that nobody's saying anything.
You can't talk about it.
You go into a meeting. So when Rebecca brought this up in the meeting, lots of people agreed. And then a little bit later, the leader said, how many of you are finding success for freestyle? And I think she was hoping that there would be like half the group or something. And one girl raised her hand, and she had just joined last Wednesday.
One out of like 20 something people that were in the room.
And so it's, I think there's clear that there needs to be
a conversation.
We need to talk about it regularly. That like 0 point foods, they did say 0 point foods doesn't mean that it's free, but 0 point foods aren't the same 0 point foods you experienced previously.
And it's clear that they're not free because the program's called Freestyle.
Right.
I mean, come on, Weight Watchers.
Well, and I think two other things that are sort of making it a struggle. One is about the concept of a mental shift. This did shift the responsibility more to each individual to have to notice your body. And as much as that's a good thing and we should all do that, that is not the focus of the prior plan.
If I was capable of doing that, I wouldn't have joined Weight Watchers.
Yeah, and that's a reason. In the past, you had the points, or you had Simply Filling, and people that didn't want to go on Simply Filling, the reason for it was, look, it's a nice list of foods, but I can't stop myself.
Yep.
That's why I'm on the points. And they took that away and said, well, we're going to give you some points, so we're kind of like, it's a quasi mixture of Simply Filling and points, but you have to pay attention to your body. And that's just not the program that helped a lot of people be successful.
Yeah.
So I think that's one problem. I think another thing is, and I love Oprah as much as the next person, but her commercials have been saying things like, and it's almost a direct quote, how easy is it now to go to almost any restaurant and order just about any food?
It's not.
It got worse.
It's harder to eat out than it used to be.
Your points now, a food that's not on the free list now takes up more points because you have less points in the day. Right. So it takes up higher percentage of points to eat the quote just about any food at any restaurant.
And for those of us who have more to lose, you didn't lose that average of 7 points. I lost 12 points. That's a big chunk of my points that I lost. That's an entire meal that I lost.
Yeah. In the past, we were sort of taking a slow, we were getting there over time. You
could adjust your mindset bit by bit, day by day. Whereas this is like overnight, you have to live much more differently than you used to.
Well, and that's part of what I think is my frustration is the plan may be successful and I'm still figuring out how to make it successful. I'm not going anywhere. I'm sticking with Weight Watchers. There are lots of things I'm gaining through the program, but man, I think the rollout could have been different. And I think that we could be talking about these things in meetings in a way that is helpful rather than trying to pretend things are okay when they're just not okay. There are a lot of people in the meeting today that were experiencing the same frustration. And any meeting I've been in, when people start to talk about that, it gets shut off really quickly. And kudos to our leader today who let us talk about it and let us discuss it a little bit more. She still kind of wrapped it up. But, I think that this is something that you legitimately have to work through. And like Heidi said, I have a lot to lose. I'm not I'm not one of those people that's doing this for 5 months and then I hit lifetime and woohoo. I mean, this is a years of work that I'm going to have to do to lose the weight that I need to lose. And I need confidence.
You need to have faith.
I need confidence in the plan that I'm working, that it's going to be helpful for me.
So, to sum up, we're not leaving Weight Watchers.
We're not leaving Weight Watchers.
We're going to figure it out. Maybe we include more of these topics going forward.
Yeah.
Like, let's talk about the emotional impact that we're going through.
Or how to work the new 0 point plan in a way that's successful, because
it's not the same as it.
It's just
you can't
not the
think
same.
about 0 points the way that you used to.
Yeah.
Well, and that's one reason that and I'm still trying to work it out because it's new at it. But this is exactly one of the reasons that I went to Simply Filling. And I just remember this was another cause was I felt like the new program it sort of took away the ability to focus on whole grains, because it made them a higher percentage of points by not making them free. And I feel like for me, I've just always been somebody that when I'm healthy, I'm eating whole grains.
Yeah.
And so that's just, and that's something that I found on Simply Filling. But so we're going to have different reactions, right? So for me, I'm trying Simply Filling. You guys are sticking to Freestyle, but you might tweak it. You might decide, I'm interested in how this turns out. You might bring in some other concept to try to help drive the weight loss.
Part of what's hard, though, is that it requires more mental energy now.
Yeah.
And I feel sometimes, at least some weeks, and I don't know if anybody else feels this way, but I feel like I'm out of mental energy. My body's tired, my mind is tired, my emotions are tired. I don't have the energy to think about, okay, this is a 0 point, but is it going to help me to lose weight? And it's too much. It's too much sometimes. And so, I've got to shift that. I've got to figure out a way to be more proactive at the beginning of the week. I just wish that I'd been given more support in the program as a way of adjusting through this.
Yeah. Before we end, I want to point out what Lisa said earlier. She said, this is what I've been saying I think in her eldest sister way. She was trying to say, I told you so. I was right from the beginning, and I'm smarter than you because I figured it out.
I did not say that, but it is always funny when, like, between the three of us, one of us sort of gets there first, and the other thing, like, you guys, I feel like I give kudos to you because you kept trying. You were like, no, we're going to keep doing it. I trust Weight Watchers. They wouldn't do this if they didn't have our best interest at heart. And I was like, screw it. I think it's not working for me, So it's not a big sister thing. Wow, issues. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that on a different podcast. Woo!
Please, guys, share your thoughts about Freestyle. If you have negative thoughts, share those too, because positive ones too, of course.
Yeah, if you think we're totally off base and we're totally wrong, let us know that too.
But if you have things about Freestyle specifically that you think that we should talk about, let us know, and we'll slot them in for one of our podcasts later. I definitely think that there's more exploration of topics here, because I think that that's what will help. I don't know about anybody else. That will help me get over this frustration.
Yeah.
So please
hang
hit
in
us
there
up on our Facebook page or on our blog at eatcrunchy.com, or send us an email at eatcrunchyblog@gmail.com.